Hello, 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 and today we're going to go over why we're not going to run more than 7 playsets maximum in our decks ever again. And no, there are a couple of exceptions. We are going to go over that too. But real quick, take a look at this guy's deck. Take a look at this. Do you see the problem here? Take a look. No, and it's not that he's running 41 cards in his deck. That's okay. Look with me. Count with me here. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the corner there. 5, 6, 7, right? 8, 9, 10 Nibiru, 11, 12 playsets. This guy's running 12 playsets and he's wondering on Reddit, why am I not having success with this deck? I keep bricking. Like, yeah, no, and actually this deck could be optimized a little bit more. We'll talk about that too. But anyways, we're not supposed to be going over 7 playsets. In fact, we're going to go into the math and graphs of that. I can't wait. I love to deep dive into that kind of stuff. But here's the overall layout. We're going to just go real quick and explain. Maybe you're new. We're going to go over exactly what is a playset, then we're going to go over the math of it, then we're going to go over some graphs, and then we're going to go over exceptions too, because a lot of people are like, wait, my deck can have more than 7 playsets because X, Y, and Z. Yes, there are a couple of exceptions to the 7 playset rule, but we'll go over those too, so this way people, because they always type in the comments like, wait, actually, my deck is an exception because you don't even understand. My deck's the best deck. And then we're going to go over some case studies too, so that's going to be real fun because a lot of people like those kind of things. And wow, real quick, if you're new to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or it's just like early, you don't know what a playset is, very simple, nice and easy like the hair colors, just running 3 cards, 3 of a kind with the same name. That's it, because in Yu-Gi-Oh! You're allowed to run maximum 3 cards with the same name. So just for example, like Ash Blossom Joyous String, you're just putting 3 of them in your deck. That's a playset right there. You're running a full playset. So that's the terminology we're going to be using when I talk about a playset for this video. Now, real quick, here are the numbers, and don't worry about this. This is going to be like, oh, I can't take it. No, the math. Don't worry, I make it nice and simple, nice and easy to break it down. Some people just like to see the hard numbers of percentages. So I'm going to turn that into a percentage to make it nice and easy, a little bit easier on our eyes to kind of understand. And I'm going to go even further, too. I just wanted just to quickly show this data. I want to just, actually, I'm going to show it in a graph form, because that's sometimes it's easier to digest, you know what I'm saying? I don't like to eat a whole salami all at once. I like to cut it up into pieces, and that's the little salami method I like to use. So here's the going first dupe percentages, and you can see it's those same numbers just right here on a graph. Nice and easy, so it's a bit visible to see. And now let's take a look at the 7 number right here. When you're going first, right? This is the dupe percentage, and that means when you're running a playset, you have a very good possibility that you're gonna draw 2 of your playsets, and the more playsets you run, right, the more playsets we run, the more our percentage of running into a dupe is. And you can see here it starts going up more and more and more the more dupes we run. And so let's take a look at, let's say if we're running 3 playsets, right, we only have a 10.79% chance for our 5-card hand to basically become a 4-card hand or less, because something might come in 3-card hand if we draw 2 of the same cards. Similarly, if we're playing 12 playsets like our friend in the beginning was playing, we have a 40% chance going first to absolutely brick. And by the way, I'm going to show you going second too. Not really brick, because we're basically turning our 5-card hand into a 4-card hand. And I'm going to say that kind of bricking, maybe soft bricking, because in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, especially if you're going first or you're going second, you need every card to count, because your opponent is likely playing so many hand traps and things where they're on average now drawing two hand traps. So they're taking your hand traps now, and this is going second. This is the going second numbers, by the way. They're taking your hand traps and they're averaging 2, so they're wiping out basically 2 of your cards. So we need every card to count. So now if they're wiping out 2 of your cards and you have a 4-card hand, now you really only have 2 cards left to play with, and you better hope they do something good. So here's going second now. Going second, your dupe percentage here. Look at this. And again, well, if your 7 is at 34%, so that means 1 out of every 3 hands, roughly, you're gonna draw a dupe. So that's why we don't want to go over 7 playsets, because that's there. And then even if we go backwards, let me just go backwards a bit to the old graph again. It's about 25%, so 1 in 4. 1 in 4 and 1 in 3. Those numbers are easy to remember. 25% about and 33%. 1 in 3, 1 in 4. And so that's why 7 is the magic number here. Technically, really, I don't like to go over 15%. You know, I like to have 85% consistency in my numbers. But a lot of people are like, oh no, I'm too harsh with it. So, you know what? It's just the 7 playset rule, you know. just so we can have consistency, because as the decks and Yu-Gi-Oh! Evolve, that's what it's going to amount to. We don't want to go more than 7 playsets, because look at this. Now let's go back to our friend. If he's going second, he has more than halfway percent chance. He's running 12 playsets. When he draws 6 cards, he's actually more likely than not going to have a dupe in his deck list. So he's actually going second, and he's having multiple copies that are not doing him justice. So very interesting there. By the way, if you like numbers and stuff and you want to help me out, come like, subscribe, join our Discord, do all this fun stuff. We got more stats and all of that stuff. Oh, and by the way, I just started a Twitch account too, so you could find me there. But that's I'm very rare. I just started doing it. It's like maybe finding a shiny in Pokemon. Maybe you'll find the math guy there. You can find me there at Jesse Perez Math Book. Come and join the Discord, and we'll actually take a look at your decks. We'll help improve your decks. We'll get them the consistency they need to do. But real quick, let's go over the exceptions, because there are a lot of exceptions to the rule. The first exception, can you see what the exception is here? I don't want to just give it away yet or just yet. And it is a very good guess if you did say that they are all toxic decks. Yes, they are pretty toxic decks, but that's not the right answer. No, in fact, all these cards have one thing in common, and that, yes, they are discard decks. They facilitate discarding. For example, if you take a look at all of these cards right here, so this is why it's an exception to the 7 playset rule. If you're running these kind of decks, maybe you could run 8, 9, 10 playsets, because, for example, the runic cards will discard a card. So why is that important, discarding a card? Well, that means if you do draw a dupe, you can end up just discarding it anyways. No harm, no foul, right? The Pearlies like to discard. King Sark can discard to do stuff. Diabellstar discards to summon herself. So, and there are a lot more discard decks. I just highlighted some of the prevalent ones that you might know. So don't be like, oh, my fluffy fluff deck discards and you didn't highlight it. What are you doing? Like, no, yeah, okay, sorry, I didn't highlight your fluffy fluff deck. Yes, but if it falls into the discards category, then it is a discard deck, and it is such exception. What's another exception we got here? Non-hard once per turn cards. Non-hopped cards. People might be confused and be like, hey, Jesse, what's a hopped card? Non-hopped card. It's basically just a card that is non-hard once per turn. That means, for example, take a look at all of these cards here. Infinite Impermanence, Preparation Rites, Allure of Darkness. It doesn't matter how many copies of this card. Let's say Yu-Gi-Oh! Even allowed you to run 6 copies of these cards. You can keep using it. There's no limit to the amount of times you can use these cards per turn. Most modern cards now will come with a clause like you can only use X card once per turn, or you can only activate X card once per turn, right? And same thing, or you can only activate X effect once per turn and only once per turn or something like that. Anyways, so you can see here like the ritual card, Preparation of Rites. Yeah, feel free to run as many of those as you want if you're running a big heavy ritual deck, you know. And actually, speaking of which, the guy who's highlighted earlier, I didn't see any of these Preparation of Rites. I think he was only running 2 ritual cards, and I didn't see any, like, he could have ran to maybe a better engine like an Incantation engine or a Herald engine, you know what I'm saying, a Cyber Angel engine, but this video is not about him. It's about the playsets and the exceptions here. Infinite Impermanence, you could run 3 of those for free and it won't count to your playsets. So if you're running 7 playsets and Infinite Impermanence for a total of technically 8 playsets, that's fine, because Infinite Impermanence won't count to your playsets. So if you're running 7 playsets with Infinite Impermanence too at 3 as well, you're not running 8 playsets. It won't count to the 7 playset rule. There's something too like Allure of Darkness, but just be careful though when I'm saying Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is technically thinning the maximum amount of cards that your deck is, right? Because Allure of Darkness is a draw card. So if you think of it something like if you're running a lot of the pot cards, right? You're technically not running a 40 card deck. You're technically running like a 39, 38 card. If you're playing a lot of Upstart Goblins, if you're playing Master Duel, 3 Upstart Goblins, 3 Chicken Games, all of a sudden you're not running a 40 card deck anymore. 3 Upstart and 3 Chicken Games mean you're running a 34 card deck. It means the math changes slightly, so maybe you want to run maybe 6 or 5 playsets even if you're doing that. But the exception number 3 right now, by the way, also besides that too, is because that was an exception to lower the thing, is what if we're playing a high amount of cards, right? 50 plus size decks, you know what I'm saying? We like them big. We like those big plus size decks, baby, you know what I'm saying? We want them big bodies, those thick decks. That's a good exception too. Think of like the Dragon Link or Tour Elements that like to play those nice pile decks, or the Snake pile, right? And speaking of snake, whoa, speaking of snake rain, look at this. Oh, look at these guys being scared. I love the artwork on snake rain. I just wanted to point that out. My favorite being this guy right here in particular. Take a look at this guy. This guy's not even falling from a tree. He's just falling from the heavens above. He's coming from the top rope like John Cena. Like, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. You'll never unsee this little snake again, too. And he's just smaller than the others. That's my favorite snake. But anyways, real quick, I'm having a lot of fun with this one. You can see here, this is just something that I was running, a sample deck that I was running in the Synchro Link Festival. Yeah, it's not the most competitive things, and I did lose. Look, so we'll cross that lose out, right? Let's quickly, you can see nothing. You ain't seen nothing. But no, in all seriousness, look at this. This is like a case study I was doing just to, so I like to have fun. So I was like, what if I make a deck with no playsets, right? And you can see here, the only playset technically I'm running is the 3 of, right here, of the preparation of rights, which I was talking about, which doesn't really count as a playset because you can use it as many times as you want. How successful would I be if I was doing that? And you can see here I was having really good success, and I'm not playing against scrubs either. I am playing against the Master 1 opponents, and I did lose. Like I said, I do lose games. So yeah, but it's really interesting. Obviously, this isn't the best deck, and it's just a festival too, so don't go. There's gonna be people in the comments like, you don't understand, this is such a small sample size, you can't go with this. It's just for fun. It's just to highlight, you know, I wanted to just see how far I could get with just doing, you know, no playsets, low stakes, you know, a nice simple thing, right? Because the deck does run some bricks and stuff, so it's really fun like that. So, and I can go more into depth right now. Let's actually, in fact, jump right in so you can see how fun it is. And it's really good when you have, like, your whole hand is unique, right? It's just really good. So I really implore you to try, if you look at your deck, see if you're running more than 7 playsets, and I implore you to try cutting it down to 5 or less, and you'll have a lot of success, but definitely no more than 7. Hello, alright, what do we got here? This guy is going first. I don't know what his name means. A lot of people understand Japanese in the comments, so they always have some interesting names in the comments. So if you know what that guy's name stands for, let me know in the comment. He's got some kind of it looks like Squid Game name going on, so I'm just gonna call him Squid. So our boy Squid's gonna go first, and this is the festival event. The festival event known for this deck right here, the Millenniums, the strongest in the event, because we're only allowed to play certain cards. And the deck, of course, I went with right here is the ritual-based deck, and you can see here how not playing playsets is allowing me to have a diverse hand, 5 different hands, and that's very important to me because I'm already running a lot of the Novels cards are bricks in hand if you don't know what you're doing with them, and I'm also running even a couple of traps with Dogmatic Punishment. So even though I'm not running a playset, I do have about only a 3-card hand really that's playable to break this board, because look at that. I don't know if you just saw what he just set here. He set the Exod Rages of Fire. If you don't know what that does, basically if you control level 10 or higher Exodia monster, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. So he's basically like Thanos, but instead of destroying 50% of everything I own, like your wife in the divorce taking half, he's going to take 100% of it. So he's going to destroy everything I own. While the Unstoppable Exodia also has a spell and trap negate, and that's going to be his choosing, and I only have 3 spells right here, so he's going to have to choose the right one at the perfect time, and that can end my turn. Good thing I got a good normal summon here. We're going to start with Concours de Cuisine, and of course, that's always my feeler card. I never start with the best card first, because otherwise, you know what I'm saying? That card was going to special summon this, but I already had one in my hands anyways, so it's just my little feeler one, but he still has a spell and trap negate. He had an Ash Blossom in my hand, further dampening my plans, so now I only have 2 spell and traps to work with, knowing that he's going to negate one of them. So let's just start with Poisonnaire, just to make sure. Let's see if he destroys this, and he's not. So now he's just getting some additional cards. Let's Ritual Summon Barilla Base, and that's the card he's saying, you know what? Nope, I can't have you Ritual Summoning right now. We're going to stop that in its tracks. Now, it was very important the way I layered this, because pre-preparation of rights, by the way, this is the only thing I'm running at 3, because remember, if you remember before, it's not hard once per turn, so it doesn't matter how many of these I run in my deck. I can run 6, and I can always search. It's not a hard once per turn. What's really cool is this card has a secret effect. Mostly people know that you can add a ritual from your deck to your hand, but do you know that you can also add 1 ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand? So that's why I actually did it in that order. That was very important. So now I can get Cyber Angel Ben 10, and I can get my ritual spell back. So let's redo that, baby. It's like basically, you know, rewind, you know, YouTube rewind, but that was a fail. Everyone knew that. Some people don't even know what YouTube rewind was. That lasted for about 5 minutes. I think a mosquito's lifespan lasted longer than YouTube rewind. But what's not going to last longer is, don't forget, he still has the thing to explode me on my turn. Everything on the field. So I'm just going to use this little combo, getting Gorilla Base out now. I need to get him to trigger that out now while I still have a lot of other options. This lets me Excavate 5 and add a Novelli's card to my hand. I'm calling it Novels, and I think the V is silent. People told me in my last video, so I think it's Novell? I don't know. But what I do know is I'm going to target my own card. When I target my own card with Poisonere, that allows me to change its battle position, but I don't really care to change my own battle position. It's just I really want to do this effect that when this card is targeted, I contribute my opponent's monster and itself to get a higher level Novell card. So because of I'm doing that, he has to use his Fires of Rage right now and explode and destroy everything. That's going to stop him, stop me from tributing my own card, and now he thinks he's safe. He created the strongest board he could make, and even that's not going to be enough to stop my cards, because I do love this deck. It's a very good go second deck. It creates cards, good boards going first and second. I really think you should definitely give Novell a try if you haven't, especially since they're all food-based, you know what I'm saying? Give it a little taste, a little sample if you don't, because I get to now do this. I get to now draw a card off of this guy, the Portes de Novellis, because a lot of people don't know what these guys do, and they do a lot of fun and interesting stuff. This guy, by the way, when he's special summoned, allows me to draw a card too, and then this lets me get Novelli's card too. So look at that, and now this card lets me get any card I want back, pretty much, that says Novels, and now I could get a ritual card out, come back in, look at that draw, and you can see how, too, even with these draws, I'm drawing, everything I'm drawing is unique, because I'm having such a diverse deck. I don't have to worry about drawing duplicates when you're not running duplicates. I'm almost kind of running Highlander. I am running a lot of 2-ofs in the deck for these purposes. Now, this card, by the way, will turn everything into attack position when I use it, so long as I summoned it with the correct ritual card, which I did. This card right here. You summon this guy with this ritual card, it's going to turn everything in attack mode, and now I can also destroy a spell and trap on the field, too, just in case he's protecting anything else. Ben 10, by the way, is just being a real beast and continuing my, giving me a lot of tribute material. In this case, it's ingredients, and now I'm going to use him as ingredients, because I can use, now that his monsters are in attack position, my monsters basically can just use his monsters as food, and I'm going to use him as an ingredient to get Hungry Burger. Hungry Burger, of course, is my win condition for the deck, so once you see Hungry Burger come out, you know you have to resign, because Hungry Burger is just so powerful that you have to resign upon seeing a burger, right? Especially because the prices of Big Macs and Happy Meals have been inflated lately, you just gotta resign. You can't. There's nothing you can do about it. So, we'll on to the next one. Now, very interesting. This second game, I want to bring up something. Before I moved this card to 2, everything in that list before, I was running this card right here at 3 copies, and this is what made me bring it down to 2. Now, I drew the second copy of 3 on this. This was my only card that I was playing a playset in, and of course I was thinking, how ironic that I draw it. According, if you remember to the graph, going first, you only have like a 3.64% chance of it happening, but going second, it was a little bit higher, and that just annoyed me, so it made me, this was the game that made me take it down to just run no playsets, just to try it out, and I was having success with it, so I just think that it's very interesting that the one playset that I was running a 1 of, it ended up happening, and I drew it. But that does happen, 3.64 does happening, or a little 4% happens. We just gotta accept that. But that's just so very interesting there. Now, you can see both of us kind of bricking, kind of doing things suboptimally, and that's what happens here. So even though I have this very diverse hand, I couldn't really do much because I'm limited just to, this is the event where I can only use synchros and fusions. So, but here we go. We're gonna now, oh my gosh, what's this Deadly Cat doing? I'm getting assaulted both on my opponent's turn and now in real life by Deadly Beast, because this guy is silver right here, but not silver ranked. He was definitely a Masters player. As I checked my wow, what am I doing here? I'm just trying to get some cards back in, getting a little feel for things, getting things going. Cyber into Ben 10. It's going to add me Diviner of the Herald. Herald now is going to, of course, send something to the graveyard, but he's not going to let me send anything to the graveyard with Herald. This guy's packing more hand traps in him. He's packing a lot of heat. He's like Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. I don't know if you knew that. There's a little scene in The Wizard of Oz where Scarecrow's actually packing heat. I think he's got like a revolver or something like that in his hand. It's like only for like a brief 30 seconds. But anyways, now who else is packing heat is me, because I'm going to use Balamunier to get me a Novelli's card, and as well as I'm going to use Pulsionaire to give me a nice little search here, and he gets to get a little search as well. And the downside of running these Novels is that they do have a hard time finishing people off in one turn. You know what I'm saying? It's like when it's like when you're playing Mortal Kombat and you don't know the combo to do a finish him, and you don't finish them off. Yeah, so I have a little trouble finishing them off. You know, I can't do the finish him move. So no fatalities for me. But what is pretty cool is I do get to summon Barilla Base here. Barilla Base, of course, letting me add a card, and then getting to do some excavates. And then also, wow, when you use Sakitama as a ritual fodder, he does let you add him back to the hand. He always comes back to you. There we go. You get to search 5, and we'll get to add a card. See, there's my third copy. Look, 1, 2, 3. You can see right now I have 3 copies everywhere. They're just showing up, doing their thing. So because I have so many copies, I can just get rid of one. And so even when I'm running 3 of them, it's kind of annoying too, because it is what it is, though. Because now it led me to a Herald of the Arc Light. I got to use, funny enough, his negating Ash got to be a tuner, and what I am now, I'm using a Herald of I hard made Herald of the Arc Light. That's something that I don't get to make very often, but it's really cool because he's doing a fusion deck. It does kind of floodgate him in the sense that now all the cards are sent to the graveyard. So I am going to send all his cards to the graveyard, and now I'm back to a full unique deck, unique hand. That's what I like, because I'm not running anything hard once per turn. And what is going to be hard is Earthbound Prison is probably the second best deck in this thing. This card, by the way, for people that don't know, this card will shut off a card. When this card is activated, you get to target a effect monster your opponent controls, and it gains this effect. When it's in the field zone, negate the effects of a effect monster on the field. So he's going to turn off my Herald of Arc Light. That was just too good for me to do, so I had to try to stop it. And I do want to stop it. So I'm going to use my negate now, because he is going to negate me with Earthbound Prison. But he does have a Called by the Grave, and I really want to stop Earthbound Fusion from going off. That's a very, very strong card. So we're going to now do a huge chain. We got a Chain Link 6. That's a really big chain here. I'm going to negate his Called by the Grave, and then his Called by the Grave is going to try to stop my Herald of Arc Light, but no, I stopped him. I used my Herald of Arc Light to stop the Earthbound Fusion, to stop this, to stop that, and anyways, at the end of the day, I get to get this cool Chef Ramsey gets to come onto my field. Now, Chef Ramsey is going to activate and negate the whole field, and there's not really much on the field to negate, but whatever, it's better than nothing. And Herald going to the grave lets me search a Cyber Angel Ben 10, so I'm feeling good right now. But he got a lot of secret effects of his own. Earthbound Fusion is going to let him get Earthbound Prisoner, and now we can use that polymerization that he had before to use Earthbound to go into some other Earthbound monster here, some kind of Geoservant Gremlin guy. And the Gremlins I'm used to is the Steven Spielberg Gremlins. They look nothing like this. They were way more intimidating. Anyways, this card's going to allow him to get some kind of Earthbound monster from his deck to his hand. Of course, he's getting this Prisoner that's going to look like some kind of whale. This Stone Sweeper gets to discard itself to just add a tuner, and Vision Resonator being a tuner, just allowing him to special summon himself from his hand like that in his defense mode, like nothing ever happened. And now he gets to go into this Griffin Geoservant card. And forgive me now, because I don't know what these cards do. And he's passing them back to me. And this is what's interesting. I might be a high-level player, but I don't know what these unknown cards do. And funny enough, he doesn't know what my cards do. So yeah, well, together we don't know what our cards do. So we have to read them when we see them. You know what I'm saying? And that's actually taking a lot of time off of my clock, because I have to read his cards. And because of that, now, well, you might not see it in this replay because I'm going very fast, but I'm actually having some time issues. Time is of the essence. And this guy, by the way, when I get to use his effect, I get to draw a card. And what's cool is now I'm starting to draw into some duplicates. Remember, everything is unique, but it's fine that I'm drawing stuff. This card, by the way, I'm going to try to destroy a card by sending Entis to the graveyard. So that's going to be fun. But he special summoned something here. This card protects it. This card is going to protect his cards from being destroyed, and this card's getting him this card back, so he's now getting a lot of protection. and that's going to be very hard for me to get rid of. He's creating a undestroyable board, so it doesn't matter that I'm creating a around the floor here, because the only thing I can destroy now is the field spell, because this is protecting his monsters from everything. But by the way, when I destroy Earthbound Prison, it's going to do something. It's going to halve my life points and negate everything on the field. So now all of my cards are negated. So let me just get a new Novelli's Restaurant here so I can just get a recipe card back from my graveyard. I'm going to need this because this is an Omni Negate. And I'm running low on time, so I'm just going to attack everything, hope for the best. But one card was protecting it, and I didn't realize until, you know, I had to pass my turn that it was one of these cards that was protecting it, but I was running low on time, and I didn't have time to really read which card was protecting. So I'm just attacking, bada bing, bada boom, and that's not good for me because I just half my life points for no reason and pass back to him. Now, my cards are turned back on, but here he goes. He's going to negate my Baron de Fleur with the Earthbound Prison. I have to say no to that by using Chef's Special Recipe, so let's decline that because I really need my Omni Negate and Baron still on the field, and now he's going to special summon something. He knows that he can't put his cards in attack mode, and because that's going to turn on my cards, you know what I'm saying? Turn them on like a light switch. They love when you put your cards in attack position, so he's not doing that, and he's going to use Harmonic Synchro Fusion, which will give him a Deadly Fusion and a Synchro Monster if he uses that. I can't have that, so that's going to be my negate. So wow, we're both doing a lot, but we're also kind of stuck. We're at like a standstill, a good old-fashioned Mexican standoff, because he can't put his guys in attack mode, and I really can't attack my guys into him. So now my Baron uses negate. He's kind of useless, so let's get him back in the deck. He's going to do something. I don't know what he's going to do. Summon a guy, and then he's going to use Infinite Impermanence. I don't want to see him come back in the deck, and now he's going to stop me, and since his guys are in defense mode, I really just have to use my own monsters to get the level 4 guy. The level 4 here, Portales, the Foya Glassa, basically is going to let me shuffle 3 of my guys back from the graveyard back into my hand so I can reuse them. You know what I'm saying? Reduce, reuse, recycle. Let's keep the planet green. Keep Earth green. That's what I say. And here we go, setting up the Great Wall of China. Some impenetrable defense because, again, these cards are all protecting one another. This card, though, does let me turn a card into attack position. Now that I see a card in attack position, baby, I get to tribute it. And because I get to tribute it, I get to now start activating my card's effects, because we love to see attack position cards, you know what I'm saying? So let's get the level 5. In the level 5, we'll get the Hungry Burger out, and I got to tribute one of his cards, and I believe that was the one that was protecting his monsters. Yes, Earthbound monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects while there is a card in the field zone. So I did destroy his field zone too. So now it looks like his cards are free reign. So let's have the Burger attack that. But again, I attacked. I did not read. I was just going in order. I'm running low on time, and I did something very devastating. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, you could destroy any one card on the field and inflict 300 damage to for each Earthbound name. So that should have been the last card I destroyed, but instead it was the first card I destroyed, and I take 1500 damage as consequence for not reading. And again, I'm running low on time, so that's why I'm making a lot of mistakes here. Mistakes will happen when you're running low on time. So it is very important that I keep getting these Omni Negates out because I cannot read. I'm like a I'm like a child under the age of 4, unable to read, and certainly living up to a Yu-Gi-Oh player's expectation of not reading cards. And now he's getting, for like the 5th time, this Earthbound Prison. I think I've seen this Earthbound Prison more times in my life than I've seen probably my school teacher, because this guy keeps coming out and won't leave me alone. It's like that high school crush that you had in the 3rd grade that just won't leave you alone, that you think has the cooties. Anyways, summoning this card will put my card in attack position. When I summon him out, I can destroy a spell and trap, but again, that will have the unfortunate consequence of negating all of my field and turning my life points in half. But I think it should be fine because I have just enough, if my math serves me correctly, to defeat him after all of this. But no, I didn't do my math correctly. He's got 400 life points left. But what I'm going to do is attack him with this card to end it.